Hello, beautiful sisters. I'm really excited today for Energetic Embodiment. This is a really cool workshop that I put together that I'm so stoked that you can attend. If you have any questions during this Facebook Live, feel free to chat. Hello, Kelly. I'm happy to answer any questions. And you can also watch the replay if you need to hop off at any time. This workshop was really inspired by, hello Sarah, it was inspired, hi Sky, it was inspired by my last workshop, which was called Living in Energetic Resonance, hello. And this is particularly around helping people with a couple of different things that I'm noticing in our group calls, Things for the Hearts, is what is called the lower triangle. And the lower triangle is what I'm calling Energetic Embodiment, which is the name of this workshop today. And what I'm noticing is a lot of us on the calls are feeling like really spun out right now. Does anybody feel spun out and like in fear? Because there's so much information happening. Hi, Jenny. There's so much information happening. And so we can get in this overwhelm place, right? And fear and a little bit of scarcity because we're ingesting so much information. It's kind of getting us swayed off our center. Hi, Dee. Nice to have you here. Another reason why I wanted to do this today is because some of you actually have been saying on the calls that you're feeling guilt or shame coming up for yourselves. And I understand that. That might be for many of the moms out there that are dealing with trying to run their business and then having their kids at home and like, how do I manage both? How do I find some balance? Feeling a little guilty that I'm kind of half there or half paying attention. Hi, Selena. How are you, love? This is great. Everybody's coming on. The other thing that's coming up for some people, and this is actually the focus of our call tomorrow, the sisterhood call tomorrow, is how to harness our energy, because many of us are feeling actually out of focus, like not focused with our attention and having trouble with prioritization and harnessing our energy for focused attention. So there's many reasons why you might be in energetic resonance with this talk today about energetic embodiment and what that means, and really how to create harmony with that manifesting current. Hi, Megan. I see that you're on here too. So it's great that you're all here. I like doing lives when there are people here so that we can have conversations, right? Kelly's saying, yes, I feel scattered all over. Totally, right? And if anybody else wants to kind of chime in on what they're feeling, any of those things, feeling scattered or fear, or maybe feeling this guilt or shame, or even this like energetic pull in many directions, feeling also, I've heard this too, my inner critic is really high right now because some of us want to go online and do videos. Hi, beautiful ladies. And you might feel like, oh God, you know, the inner critic comes up, judges, blames, and shames yourself. Hi, Melanie, how are you? And these are real things, right? Real-time issues, obstacles, challenges that we're facing. So that's why we're here today, is to really kind of get through these. As you guys know, with anything that I do, I always like starting with some sort of connection exercise or practice because it gets us in our bodies. And especially if this is called energetic embodiment, we better be in our bodies, right? So let's just start. I'm going to start over here. I like to use music, but since I'm using my phone and I'm also using my computer for notes, we're just going to start to actually shake our hands. I'm just going to invite you guys to shake your hands and shake your wrists, shake your elbows, shake your shoulders. Just, So you can make noises. The good thing about this is Facebook Live, I get to make all the noises that you can hear, but you don't have to do anything that anyone's going to hear as you're watching. So get into your energy, get into your body, and really shake it out. And enlist the voice This is how we get our energy moving. If you want to stand up, you know, I won't stand up too much because you guys are watching, but use your body, like really get your body enlisted here. So we're moving our energy. Get your voice involved. And then what we're gonna do is move into, hi Christine, move into a practice of listening to our bodies for a moment. So once you get the energy flowing, we're just shaking now for those of you who just joined. We're gonna get into what it means to be energetically embodied in just a moment here. Just waking up and then pause. So come to a place of rest. Place one hand on your belly, it could be the womb center, and one hand on your heart. And take a few breaths. Feet are on the floor or sit bones are on the floor, wherever you are watching, however you are watching. Connecting to the earth and getting really slow for a moment, slowing down the breath, feeling the vibrations in your body, and tapping into this feminine wisdom center, this place of intuition, this place of guidance, a place of creativity. And I want you to start to just move your body, just really slow. Hi, Karen. Nice to join. Thank you for being here. Just move really slow. It's like a minute, very slow and subtle movement of the body from this place of the womb. And the womb likes to be slow. Slowing down, that feminine receptive energy. So be guided by that. Could be like an inch to the right or an inch to the left. And it might even be little circles, but moving from that undercurrent, that space that's really deep down in our bodies. Hi, Vanita. Jenny says hi. And just feeling into this place, because this is the place where, as feminine leaders, as women who are on our healing path and on this path of awakening and yogic kind of realization, we want to start moving from this place. And then I've connected the heart, because we want to move from a place of compassion and service. And this simple exercise, the simple practice helps, I know me, particularly get out of my head. And for many of you, if you're feeling some of those other things that we were talking about earlier, scarcity or spinning out, or maybe even feeling creatively blocked, or how do I harness my energy, is a great way to just pull all the energy currents in. And to be present with the way that we feel in our bodies. So just being there for a moment. And so now that you're more anchored, I'll begin our talk. I'm more anchored too. Just to really, this is for connecting with you guys. Hi Carrie. Good to see you here. You know, I believe you guys, you ladies, I should say, as women are really healing right now, the collective consciousness. And as you're healing and as you're awakening, you're rising as feminine leaders, right? You're rising as feminine leaders in light and love and truth. And as we do this work for ourselves, as we connect to our inner work and go on those deep dives, we are healing the collective. We are impacting our children. We are impacting each other. We are creating transformation and change for the world. And what's primary of importance, and I was talking about this in the Living in Resonance talk, is to get into energetic alignment with ourselves. So anytime we're starting to feel frequencies that are lower in vibration, that are out of balance with our natural state of harmony and beingness, then there's something that is energetically in dissonance, right? I talked about this in our last talk. And so understanding where the imbalances are and how to locate them is really, really important to our work as healers, as coaches, as therapists, right? These are all the types of people that I work with, as yogis, as teachers. And we may have an understanding of the chakra system, I'm not just talking about the chakra system. This is not just a chakra system talk. This is actually understanding how they relate to your life in real time, to your real problems and challenges, but also the layers of that, because it's not just the energy layer, it's actually mind, body, right? The physical layer, it's energy. It's also subconscious programs, the lower mind, and what's running there. So let me give you some teachings around this and how to relate this. So this talk specifically wasn't about the whole chakra architecture. This is about our bottom half, which we call the lower triangle. And I called this talk Energetic Embodiment because these lower three chakras, energy centers, if you will, are where we struggle with our physical health, where we struggle with our fear and things like scarcity and basic needs, our guilt, our shame. This is like in our second chakra, but also this is like creative blocks, things that are blocking you creatively. And it's also balance. And I know that there's a lot of uncertainty right now, and trying to create balance is really so important, right? And then our energy, how to harness our energy and really create directive, willful, enthusiastic, focused action in the world, so we're not stopping ourselves from doing the work that we're here to do. Now, this lower triangle, if you will, relates really deeply to the earthly plane. And what I mean by the earthly plane is this earth, this reality. There is, in the spiritual communities, a tendency to want to escape our bodies. Anybody know people like that, right? It could be even you, right? Disassociate, jump out of the body, because sometimes the body can be painful and there's suffering in the body, yeah? And there's a wanting or a desire to be in these upper realms of evolution of consciousness, right? It feels fun up there. There's lots going on. We're learning. And our whole job on this planet is to bring the wisdom teachings down into the physical body. And I know that we all have a desire, right, to feel like sure of ourselves, to feel that surety, that stability, that place of real desire and connection, and to feel our center, right? We have all those desires. So to understand this lower triangle of energy is important as it relates to the earthly plane. It relates to being in our bodies, being in our physical bodies. We want to understand how they operate as a unit, and we also want to understand how they operate individually. Now, I bring this up because when we're inconsistent, let's say, or in dissonance in our energy in that lower triangle, what happens is we're very inconsistent in our actions, we're inconsistent in our energy, we're inconsistent in our behavior, and in our communication as relates to relationship. Now, some of that might sound like psychology work, and it is, right? It's east and west meet when you start to talk about this framework of energy in relationship to like coaching and Western psychology. We want to understand the physical challenges, We want to understand the belief systems that we've created. We want to understand our behaviors, our conditioned reactions and responses, and we want to be able to create an understanding about our worldview. So when I talk about energy, when I talk about the lower triangle, I don't just come from a place of like woo-woo, this is like energy, just know your chakras. I'm coming from a place of trying to use that lens, which to me is a very scientific lens. It's an energetic lens that Reiki uses. It's a science that ancient wisdom uses, and pairing it with Western psychology and the mind, and really understanding how the mind operates. They don't operate separate of each other. And that's where I think there's a big gap sometimes in the healing world, is like we're either all in the mind or we're all in the body. But then there's all these other layers in between that we're not really addressing. And we're not having the conversation of the whole holistic alternative model, which is I'm not going to use that word, to address all of them. You knew which word I was going to use. To address them all, right? So what I wanted to talk about today was how to really work with the body and the earthly plane, because that's what these three, first, second, and third chakra, deal with. It deals with the material world, and in the material world, we're also dealing with our ego. And this isn't just about energy either. It's about how we relate healthy or unhealthy ways to our ego. And again, in spiritual communities, sometimes there's this like, oh, the ego's bad. We don't want to deal with the ego. Ooh, push the ego away. Let's get rid of the ego. And it's like, no, actually the ego is a great teacher. It can be a pain in the ass, yes, and it's a wonderful, wonderful teacher, because it teaches you what you're still attached to, you know, what our triggers are, right? What's unhealed, what remains to be forgiven. And these lower three chakras relate to the ego. It relates to the ego plane, the earthly plane. And I work a lot in my coaching program. Some of you have been in my coaching program, Unleash the Priestess Within. And we go really deep into what I call the ego addictions. And I'll do a teaching on this in a second. But those ego addictions have everything also to do with these energy centers. And I teach you how they all interrelate so that you're getting an understanding of how your energy, your emotions, your lower mind, your subconscious programs, your core wounds, your lineage, and your conscious awareness are all working together to create healing. And what's really powerful is when you can work with the entire holistic kind of structure of that, then you can actually really change the stories. You can actually change the narratives. You can change your relationship to them, which subsequently can change your behaviors. It can change the patterns. It can change how you react. It can change lots of things, communication style. And we need to do that by enlisting all of our senses. And I talked a lot about that in the last talk, because we need our five senses in efforts to make this change lasting and sustainable. So let's talk about that. So I was talking in the last talk, I wrote here about dissonance, about being out of balance with the earth, being out of balance with harmony, our earthly relation. Now, if we're not in harmony in our own bodies, how are we in harmony with the earth? And this is relevant because, again, we're talking about the earthly plane. We want to be in balance in our earthly plane, in our ego plane, in order to be in balance with the great mother, the macrocosm of the earth as well. This is the law of giving and receiving, sacred reciprocity. And if you didn't see that first workshop, I talk a lot about sacred reciprocity. But sacred reciprocity exists within ourselves too, giving to ourselves and receiving within ourselves. And then in our relationships, giving to relationships, receiving from relationships. Relationship to the earth, giving to the earth and receiving from the earth. And so this is what creates harmony and balance. Hi, Michelle. Nice to see you here. Energetic embodiment, what I call this course. Energetic embodiment is using the elements. We are made of the earth. Using the elements of the earth. Ground, right? Earth. Water, flow. Air, liberation, freedom. Fire, our energy, right? Ether, space, right? All these things are part of who we are. So if we use these earth elements, we devote time and energy to understanding them, to create a relationship with them, then we also understand so much about our physicality and so much about our characteristics and how we operate. And if we use the elements and the energies and the wisdom in our bodies, earth, then we can navigate better this earthly plane. And if I'm losing some of you in this, just kind of be with it, because this is really deep information. And sometimes it has a spiraling effect on people's consciousness. And then later on it all lands and you're like, oh, right, there is a non-linear and linear thing going on. But if we use all the elements, energy of this earthly plane, if we use the wisdom of our bodies, then we can navigate the earthly plane and we become embodied in our bodies. We want to be in our bodies to do our work. And these lower three chakras are the foundation, right? They're the foundation of your spiritual work. The material plane is the foundation of the upper chakras, of the upper planes of existence. Benita says, I love it, I love it. So if you feel rooted and sturdy, if you feel flow and ease, if you harness your confidence and your will, first, second, third chakra, then you can direct that energy up to the heart, and your compassionate connection, your connection to service will land because your energy is magnetized. It's got oomph behind it. It's got sturdiness behind it. It's got ground behind it. It's got foundation behind it. It's like, as a yogi, and Selena might be able to chime in on this one, right? If you're teaching yoga, if the foundation of the pose, the posture, the asana is not correct, it's not in alignment, then the rest of the pose is off. And that goes for the energy within the pose as well. So that's what I'm talking about here. It's like if we can get solid and not feel wobbly, not feel spun out, some of the things we talked about in the beginning, not feel shame and guilt all the time, not feel like we're scatterbrained and we're leaking our energy everywhere, that would be not a strong foundation. And then we wonder why we're not connecting with people, like our soulmate clients or our ideal clients or the people that we're trying to connect with. They're like, huh? Because your energy is out of whack. So everything to me is about energy. If you want energy in your business, if you want to be a healer out there working, coach, therapist, however, whatever hat you wear in spiritual entrepreneurism, if that's a word, Selena's like, yes, the foundation, right? If you want to be out there doing your work, and things aren't really clicking, it's your responsibility to be in alignment. And Selena says, the roots of our tree to support our many branches. Yes, exactly what I'm talking about. The trunk needs to be solid. When you're out of balance, it's really hard to move into these upper chakras, into these upper areas of heart and service, because what you're saying won't really connect because it's not grounded in your body. So there's an anxiousness, a restlessness that starts to show up. And because we call this the seat of the concentrated ego, this lower triangle, then you will end up in these addictions. You will end up in these addictions that I'm calling, well, let's just bring up the triangle. So I'm talking about the lower triangle, the Triangle of Disempowerment. Some of you who are healers know this term. Those of you who are coaches and therapists know this term. Those of you who are yoga teachers probably also know this term, the Triangle of Disempowerment. I'm making a square because there's one that's missing in the Triangle of Disempowerment, which is the martyr. So victim, rescuer, persecutor. You know, these three, and then I add the martyr. These elements of the ego, when we get stuck, the triangle, it doesn't matter. When you're in a relationship and let's say you're the victim, you're playing the victim here, but you're playing a rescuer over here. You're playing these different roles, like victim nature, like, oh, why me? Why me? You know, this is all happening to me. This is all happening to me, as if you don't have control over your inner universe, right? Persecutor, blame, shame. It's their fault. It's their fault, right? Rescuer is like, oh, there's something wrong with them. I got to fix them. I got to solve it for them. I'm going to enable them. I'm going to do all these things. And then you wonder why that person isn't showing up for you. That's you rescuing them to the detriment and the cost of rescuing is basically you're not taking care of your own being. You're just like in too many other lanes dealing with other people instead of yourself. This triangle of disempowerment is existing in these lower chakras because it's this material ego plane. We want to start to solve this stuff. Let's say solve is kind of a strange word sometimes with this, but we want to start to address it and look at it and work with it as a teacher. And so a lot of these lower chakras, I do talk about this in my program, how to get out of victim consciousness, how to get out of rescuing, create healthy boundaries, how to get out of blaming and shaming people and owning your own stuff. Because remember, you are a powerful, powerful, powerful creator. And you have everything within you to change what you can within yourself that will reflect outwardly, right? Law of attraction. Okay. So I want us to really be clear too, that we don't want to brush off our human experience. We want to be in our human experience. We want to be in our bodies. Our trauma, our pain, and our suffering lives in our bodies. And I know you guys know this as healers, as light workers, as all the spiritual entrepreneurs that you are. And I also see a lot of people escaping this work because it's uncomfortable. Or maybe because it's their shadow and they can't see it. A lot of times we don't see that we're being the victim in our lives, or we're blaming and shaming, we don't even realize it. It's unconscious, right? It's subconscious. So being in our bodies, learning to be in our bodies, learning to be in our needs, express our desires, being in this human experience, being energetically embodied is what brings us our power. It's what brings us our power. To brush off the human experience is not a spiritually enlightened path. The path of yoga, the enlightened path, or the path of enlightenment, is about self-realizing, self-actualizing through your body and its complete energetic system. Can I get an amen on that? Anybody? So you might be writing notes. I don't know. So there are this lower triangle. So I'm just going through my notes here because I've gone through a lot of stuff. So we're going to be talking about our worldview. Okay, our worldview. If we have challenges in our first chakra, fear, safety, survival, trust, then our worldview is informed by that. So if we've had trauma in these areas of our lives, the way that we are now operating, let's say in this time of radical awakening is what I'm calling it, then how are we responding at this time? A lot of the ways that we would respond right now are going to relate to the ways that we've responded in the past based on our own worldview, our own perceptions, our own traumas, our own experiences, our own fear, survival, basic needs being met, right? When we're talking about shame, let's say I'm feeling shame or guilt right now, like, oh, I'm home and I'm working and I've got mom guilt because I've got my kid here, but I've got, right, like all this stuff that goes through our heads. Understandable. And if you have a healthy relationship to your second chakra, you will also understand that there are ways to create balance. that shame and guilt are low frequencies, to be able to process those out really quickly so that you can have this really healthy environment that's balanced at home and create good priorities and unblock maybe ways of creativity so that you can create that in your house. That would be a different way of responding than to just sit and wallow in shame and guilt, which is an attachment or clinging to the past, right? And then in terms of like harnessing our energy and focusing, let's say right now I'm like, oh, all these things are coming at me, and I start to blame my outer experience. I'm leaking my energy all over the place. I'm not able to get alignment, and I could say, oh, well, it's all this stuff that's coming at me. That's what's to blame. I can't get into alignment. It's like, no, you can. You have every tool possible, or maybe you don't have the tool possible and you need them, but to harness your energy, to create focused action based on what's true for you, based on what's really authentic to you. So all of this information goes really deep. So if you want more information about this, I'll give it to you. You could just reach out to me. Just like send me some questions, right? The last part of this that I wanted to get to was the manifesting current. We have a lot of information. I'm just going to open my arms like this because it's like a funnel. We have a lot of information that comes from the unlimited source of all, right? The unified field of potential of love. And we forget about our bodies. We forget about this earthly plane a lot because we go up there. We're like, oh, I want to be up there. I want to get connected. I want to get my downloads. And we have some sort of like, we say that that's more important. And it is very important to be up there, to get your downloads, to connect to spirit. But the fact is that we're in this human body, and the manifesting current is bringing spirit to form. Bringing spirit to form. It's no less important. And I wrote here, it's spirit moving towards form, towards density, toward boundaries, and toward individuality. It's like a container. It's a container. It's a funnel that moves down. I found this quote. It's a really cool quote, so I'll just read it. Each step downward, and they're talking about, this is Anna Dia Judith. She's the author of the Chakra Bible that I absolutely love. And I wish I had it next to me. I don't, but I usually do. She's the author of this book, and she's amazing. She says, each step downward, so from this unified field, is a creative act of consciousness. Each step downwards is a creative act of consciousness, making choices toward limitation and allowing constriction of freedom. Allowing constriction of freedom. See, there's no judgment around that. Allowing constriction of freedom so that there's a solid container. This allows energy to become solid. So as we're limiting and we're allowing constriction, as we're allowing this to come down, this is how we create the container of solidarity, solid body, matter, right? And then what it reminded me, and I thought this was really cool, is to talk about the etymology of material, matter, mater, mother. All these words relate. Material world, material plane, earthly plane. Matter. Matter is matter, density, earth. Mater is the root of that, which means mother. So all this material plane, this is part of our relationship to mother, right? And I don't just mean our physical mother, although first chakra is related to our primary mother, our relationship to our mother, but also to the relationship to our earthly mother, the mother energy. And as feminine leaders, as feminine women who are just doing amazing things and impacting people on this planet, we've got to get into a relationship with this manifesting current, this mother energy, this feminine energy, which is highly creative and it's bringing creativity into our bodies and moving it through that alchemical experience of the body. Energetic embodiment. Yes. This energetic blueprint that I'm talking about, the chakra system, when we're in resonance with it, when we're in alignment with it, then we're in flow. We're in the creative flow of the universe. Our bodies are really, really powerful. They're not just these physical things. Yes, these little meat suits running around, as people might call them, right? They're like these really cosmic, angelic, incredible, energetic life forces. And our life force is inside them. We're like riding around on this cool spaceship. So we want to get to know it, really well. I'm just looking at my notes because I went through a lot of stuff here. What I wanted to say is that you're your own medicine. I said this last time because I love that term. You are the medicine that you need. You are the medicine to heal all these challenges, to heal all these traumas, to move through all these emotions. And we got to get to our emotionality as feminine beings, being in our emotions. That's the juice, people. That is the juice. It's like, can we get in our bodies, feel our bodies? I'm going to start touching my body because it feels so good to be in our sensuality, to be in our bodies, and to feel, right? One of the gifts of the human experience is to feel. We got the senses. We get to experience the feelings of all of these different vibrational frequencies, like ecstatic joy, sometimes despair and the depth of that pain, and everything in between. And that's like a gift beyond gift, right? So I got some hearts for that one. Karen, I'll look up the title in a minute of that book because I'm spacing it because I'm trying to focus right now, but I'll give it to you in a minute. So what I wanted to do with this workshop is really just get you into this understanding of this lower triangle. Hi, Jenny. The lower triangle, so that you understand that you really need that foundation, the roots. And now, how do you access that? That's like a whole, that's a whole body of work. But this is the basic framework and understanding. Does anybody have any questions at this point? Because this is considered a workshop, and I don't want to just talk, although I could. Wheels of light. Yes, is it wheels of light? Wheels of light. Wheels of light? It could be wheels of light. I'll find it. I don't want to get too caught up with that. And I'll put the link down below. Does anybody have any questions so far? No? Okay. So, and if you do, just put it in the chat. I want to know if anyone here is really dealing with an issue, a challenge in these lower areas. Safety, scarcity, anything that's coming up. Or this shame and guilt piece. That is a big piece in the second chakra. It's also creative blocks, like, am I blocked creatively right now? And the third chakra is harnessing your energy. Tomorrow, on the sisterhood call at noon, which is also in this group, we will be doing some quizzes and processes. In those calls, I do more coaching around this concept, because when I polled everyone, that was the topic that was chosen. It was harnessing your energy for focused action and priority. And I've got some really good quiz questions to see where you're at in this lower triangle, but also some processes to work through it. Hi, Elizabeth. How are you? Melanie says, I've been noticing confrontational views of the world. Ooh, that is rich. So true. And yes, could that be this triangle? Absolutely. Because like we were talking about earlier, and yeah, your own view, right? Worldview, how we deal with this material plane based on our primary relationships, not only with the earth and what our practices are to keep us grounded and balanced, but what was our relationship with our primary caretakers, our mother, father? What's our relationship, their relationship, modeling, balance, masculine and feminine? What traumas did we have, or social circumstances in our early childhood, in our school, as an example? There's so many different people's views that we come across. And so all of that has shaped us. It's a really good question that you asked. It's formed our own belief system. And so whatever our own belief system is how we're going to interpret what's going on. Now, I know that in my past, trust has been an issue. Anyone have trust issues? So when I look at this experience, I go, who the hell am I supposed to trust? What information am I supposed to trust? And then I start going down the rabbit hole, all the different stories. And then it's like conspiracy land, right? Now, some of those things might be true. Some of them may not be true. The fact is, it doesn't freaking matter. And you know why? Because my worldview is based on that thing. Maybe I don't trust enough. Maybe I don't trust people enough. So I could go down that trust hole rabbit hole, whole rabbit, and I'm going to start to pick things that are in alignment with that old thing that I'm clinging on to. In reality, it doesn't freaking matter. All I need to do is move into trusting myself, trusting my own universe, and trusting what I know, and trusting Great Spirit, and connecting to what is the truth, right? And that's the work, right? That's the reframe. That's the pivot, is like, am I coming from fear of trust and not trusting from the past? Or am I coming from a place of heart and real truth and centered truth from being grounded in my body and knowing what I'm connecting to? My own personal, somebody had something. Thank you for being an extraordinary messenger of light. Oh, thank you. Dropping in for a moment. Thank you so much. Thank you. I will totally connect with you later too. Right? So Jenny just gave me a yes, right? And so that's what this is talking about, Melanie. And thank you for asking that question. It's like, who cares, honestly, what actually happened? I mean, it's important and it's relevant to an extent, but will we ever know? So instead of focusing on what we don't know, let's start to focus on what we can control, which is our own energy, our own sense of security, safety, our connection with the planet Earth, which is real and it's here, and we know we've been out of balance. Our own balance, right? Our mother-father relationship in the second chakra, this is going to inform how we relate to relationships between masculine and feminine. If I'm walking around in pain, let's say, from a past relationship, a past way of living, let's say with my dad. You know, I always use my dad issues because people know this about me. This was my past, was dealing with having relationship issues with the masculine. Then I could walk around and point fingers and be in my victim, be in my persecutor, blame, shame game, and start saying, see, this is all the masculine bullshit. This is all their stuff, and this is blah, blah, blah. But I played into that role too. I allowed myself to give up my freedoms. I allowed myself to get caught up in this whirlwind, in this triangle. So all I can do right now is to not live from that past experience, to not live from that past story, and to move into my own power and be in balance with my own masculine and feminine, understanding how I've been relating to them from my past and clearing it, cutting my cords energetically, and being in direct alignment with my own balanced energy, right? Hi, Melanie. I got ahos on that one. Yeah, hearts. Any other questions? Is anyone leaking their energy? Because I know this is a big one that came up for a lot of people, which is why it's on the call tomorrow. It's like, where's our energy going? Oh my God, some like time is just like out the door these days, right? Hi, Kelly. I find that I'll, normally, let's say in the past, I've been pretty focused. I'm very organized with my time. I'm really good at time management. And in the last couple of weeks, because I'm just going down the rabbit hole sometimes, I'll be like, where did the last 3 or 4 hours go? I don't even know. And now, and what a thing to change, right? To focus on, because if we're home and we have this ability to kind of shut down a little bit and slow down a little bit, let's really utilize this time for connecting with exactly what it is that we're here for. What are our gifts? What's our contribution? Where can we get more imbalance? Where can we get more focused and prioritize so that we're not leaking? Yeah, she says, yeah, I don't know where all of it's leaking, right? It's like going into the vortex, reel it in. So that's what we're going to be talking about tomorrow. I just wanted to say, let's, this is the work that we're doing here. Unleash the Priestess. This is my body of work, but it's for everybody, right? I designed this so that healers, spiritual entrepreneurs, coaches, therapists, people like you guys could go out there and really break through some of these patterns, some of these behaviors. Look at our reactions, look at our behaviors, look at our patterns, and pull these energetic threads through so that we can unleash the Priestess, so that we can release that power, our passions, our power, our purpose, and be that driving leader, being that force of nature. But I'm going to say, instead of always driving, because that's very masculine, being in our receptive, I catch myself all the time, being receptive in our feminine energy, coming from a place of compassion, understanding, love, right? That yummy vibration. So I really urge us to step out, So if you're really struggling, if you're struggling right now, Selena, reprogram our subconscious. Yes. I always say deprogram to reprogram. One of my favorite definitions of yoga is bringing the subconscious to the conscious, or bridging them. And I say that a lot. It's like finding the bridge between our old self and our higher self. And some of the juice in there is energy and emotions. And like really massaging those two things so that we can really be living in our heart. We've been so conditioned to live up here. How about living down here? And I put my hand here because sometimes I get really stuck up there too. A Virgo with an Aquarius moon. Hello. Knowledge, perfectionism. I challenged myself today to be on this call and to relinquish my entire presentation. I literally wrote an entire presentation for this, and I'm thumbing through it periodically, but I want to be in my heart. I don't want to be like, just reading something and not connecting to you guys. It's about being of service to you. Is there anything else here that I can mention? Any questions coming up around energetic embodiment? And if it's something that I can answer right now, I will. If it's something that needs a little bit more time, just connect with me. You can always Facebook Messenger me or reach out. So lastly, I did want to say, to come to these live teachings, come into the calls, the sisterhood calls. We are all on there on Zoom so we can see each other and we can interact and we can play and we can have fun, laugh. And I do interactive teaching so that we can do processing and find some breakthroughs and have some aha moments. Thank you, Selena. And before you go, but yeah, so that's on Wednesday at 12. And then also I did, which I'm really excited about, I'm releasing the information for my group. I have a group coming up for you guys, these women in here, these strong, powerful, incredible women that want to do this deep, deep, deep dive. And for spiritual entrepreneurs like yourself who really want to tap into passion and power and purpose and collectively shift something so that you can share all of your gifts out there in the universe, because we need you now. And so I am opening enrollment right now for 10 of you to come in and work on these types of things in real time with real challenges and problems that are coming up to solve right now. How do we be in a collective unit, a cauldron of super yummy, feminine, creative energy, and help each other rise, help each other come to a place of like really owning and being responsible for what we can do on this planet, this new earth that we are all creating together, that we keep talking about, right? Oh, I just lost the scroll. Oh, there it is. I just want to answer all your questions. How do we get in the group? Very good question. I will put the details below this video. It's a link, and then you can read all the details. I finally got it up. It took me like a week, but I launched it really early. I was going to do it in 3 months, and I was like, no, it has to happen now because everybody needs it and they're asking for it. And I've led them before, so I wanted to get it up, but I just got it up. So now I don't have to go through the whole litany. I can just send you the link, and then you can read all about it, which is really cool. And yeah, so 10 of you, and I would love for you to just read about it and let me know if you have any questions. I also opened up my schedule for any of you to call me at any time. I literally put my whole calendar on. I went on there and did the whole calendaring. So if you need a call, if you want to talk to me, if you're like, I just need to just deal with this one problem, can you give me some advice? Yes, I can do all those things. I can totally help you out because I know how important this is right now. And it's my priority to serve. And that's what I do. And that's why I want to do it. I love it. It's my passion. So if there are no other questions, I have no idea what time it is. Wow. Okay. If there's no other questions, let me know. Kirsten! My cousin! Hi! Kiki, I love you. Mwah. I never get to see you, but I want to. If there are no other questions, then I will wrap this up. I always like to wrap up with just a closing prayer because it feels like I always open an energetic container. We did a little exercise in the beginning. And then we want to close the container. Today is light code activation because I know some of you really love those. And so let me grab my drum. It's right here. I love you, sister. Yeah, I love you too. And we'll do a little light code activation. We'll just kind of bring this in. I know some of you on this call have like amazing voices and you are channels. Hello, Vanita. And this might be really fun for you to experience because it's a way of tapping into the heart. And this is not about the head. This is about energetic alignment, tapping into our heart energy, and letting whatever comes through come through. So you are all channels. You're all healers. You're all channels. And you can do this. And it took me like literally 10 years. Oh my God, is it 10 years to like own it? To like really own it. So, but now I own it. And sometimes it feels really so good for me to be able to do this, to just listen to the light codes that come through and to feel that vibration of energy of the heart. This is a heart-based practice come through. So I'll invite you to close your eyes as we're wrapping up and feel your body, feel your feet. Take a couple of deep breaths. And I'll do the same. And then we'll see. We'll see. And I don't even know if I'm going to use my drum, actually. I might just go a cappella. Yeah, that's what I'm feeling right now. So this is a prayer practice of mine that I'm sharing with you. And I'll invite you to bring your hands to your heart center. Connect down to your feet, down to the earth, and we're calling to all of our beloved guides and angels, all the galactic federations of light and love, to your guides, to your angels, your spiritual allies, whether they're in human form, animal form, rock form, anything that has pranic form. And in the unseen realms, our lineage, our ancestors. And we call today to just be in alignment with our energy and with our purpose and with our intentions. To hold the light, to hold the frequency of love and joy, to be pillars, to awaken all the seeds and all the seedlings, all the light beings that are on this planet, to hold that grid of love for each other as a species and for the earth. A corazón o coração medicina yokori boritanaya kuritarei yanayokoi haya hanayoku haya norekaya nosteria honei clearing the energy and releasing all the way down into the earth. Thank you, Madre. Gracias, Padre. And gracias to all of you. Lisa says, play that drum, goddess. Next time I will own it. I love playing my drum, and I do often. Don't often do the a cappella. So thank you for listening. Thank you for receiving. Thank you for being with me today. It is my absolute honor and pleasure to serve you in this way. So much love. And I'll talk to you maybe tomorrow or see your face at 12 PST. Thank you, Kelly. That was beautiful. Thank you, Dee. Beautiful light language. Thank you, Jenny. And anyone else who's on here, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate you being here. It really means so much to me to be able to deliver these messages of love and light and truth. Mwah. Have a beautiful afternoon. Love you. Thank you, Sarah.